Hi everyone. Okay, so way back when you took a language class, you may have heard the word verbal before, and you may have thought, well, what is that? And then you probably forgot all about it up until now. And that is actually our topic for this module. We're going to be talking about verbals. And verbals are just basically verb forms that act as either nouns, adjectives, or adverbs. We have three different types of verbals. We have participles, gerunds, and infinitives. So let's talk about participles. Participles are basically just verb forms that act as adjectives. We have two types of participles, past participle, which usually ends in ed, and the present participle, which ends in ing. So let's take a look at the examples that we have here. For our first example, we have grammar makes me bored. So in this example, bored is modifying the pronoun me. Okay, it's describing the pronoun me. Therefore, it's acting as an adjective. In this example, we have grammar is boring. Boring is modifying grammar. So it's describing grammar and therefore acting, again, as an adjective. Now, it's really important to note that as English teachers, your students are probably going to ask you some questions and might be a little bit confused about when they should be using which participle, because it does sometimes get a little bit confusing. They might not know whether to use the ed form or the ing form. But an easy way for them to recognize which form they should use is to tell them that we often use the past participle to describe how a person feels. So for example here, this is how I feel. I feel bored, so I would use the eng. And the present participle is used to describe the cause of the feeling. So grammar, in this case, is causing my feeling of boredom. Grammar is the cause, therefore we would use the ing or the present participle to describe it. Now let's move on to gerunds. Gerunds are verb forms that act as nouns. They also end in an ing. But like I said, they're not functioning as adjectives. Gerunds function as nouns. So let's take a look at the example. Running makes me cry. In this sentence, running is the subject or the noun of my sentence. Again, in the next sentence, swimming, on the other hand, is great. Swimming is the subject of my sentence, and it's acting as a noun. Therefore, we consider it to be a gerund. Now, infinitives are verb forms that act as a noun, an adjective, or an adverb. And it's basically the fancy way of saying the to form of a verb. So let's take a look at the examples that I have down here. We have, I like to eat some tum. In this sentence, the infinitive to eat is actually acting as a noun. It's what I like, okay? In the next example, we have, we were excited to go to Thailand. In this example, to go is acting as an adverb and modifying the verb over here. In the last example we have a good question to ask is how much the ticket costs. And in this sentence, to ask is actually an adjective because it's describing or modifying the noun phrase, a good question. So I hope that this explains verbals to you and makes them a little less confusing, and that now you know what they are.